Massive, the world's largest cruiserweight, and you're watching and listening to Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm out.
What's up, heels and baby faces? I am your host tonight. It is Big Mike coming to you from 2022 Electric Boogaloo, Return of the Claudio. And with us today, we have Tommy.
What's up? I wasn't ready. The Return of Claudio's what got me, bro.
Conspicuous by his absence, JC is not with us today. He is taking some well-deserved time with his family.
Very much so.
So we wish him the best and hope he's enjoying his time. A little bit of history before we get started, guys. I'm pretty sure this is literally the first WrestleCast that JC is not a part of. He has allowed some of us to host different episodes of the year. Tina, I believe, was the first to host the Revolution, Women's Revolution, or were you the first to host for the New Japan show?
I think I did I think I did this Wrestle Kingdom first because, like, I think that happened. I think that same year we did both. We did because I think Wrestle Kingdom was that January, and then Revolution was that following.
Right, and then down that road, they let me did the Money in the Bank one time. But yeah, JC was always on those shows, so this is a little bit of historic. Me and Tommy will guide you through. We will try to not mess it up too bad. As always, please follow us on our Twitters at ccg_WrestleCast. Down
it's somewhere.
Follow us somewhere. There we go.
Yeah.
And also follow us on our YouTube channel at Countdown City Geeks, where we have the Geekcast and the WrestleCast both for you. Tonight, of course, the big thing we're going to be talking about, AEW x New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. We are going to talk about that show, the things we loved, hate, and all the other stuff. We are going to do a quick preview of the Impact Plus show.
I just saw
All Odds. Yeah.
I didn't do anything yet. I'll say yet. I could do something later
for the comments in just a second. But we'll be doing a quick preview of the Impact Against All Odds. It's just an Impact Plus show, but some decent stuff there, and then we'll finish off with Money in the Bank, WWE. We'll give it its due. So hello to Terry and Bernsey, already showing up in the comments here. Good to see you, and let's get started. Wrestling news. I don't think there's any really big stuff to get on to.
All errors are not my fault, anyway.
All errors are Tommy's fault, says Terry. Right?
I didn't even do anything yet.
Starting off.
It's not even it's a BOW show and I'm running the camera, but that's usually my fault when we have to stall the show because I have to change batteries.
I haven't been there. I heard one time you did some ring announcing and a lot of people harassed you, but that's just the
bro. Like I have no friends. I do not because true story. A friend whose wedding I went to. Her and her husband came. She did nothing but heckle me. I'm like, girl, I was at your what? Okay, you know what? I see how this. Who's the only friend there was Steady. Steady was the only person who had my back. So thank you, Steady, wherever you are.
Okay, real quick, counterpoint, personal side. In all fairness, I've had your back for a lot of things. Until you attacked the person I was trying to get a autograph from while I'm in front of her. And you're just yelling at her and me. You're spending money on her. You're going to pay for her autograph? Really? So I'm just saying, I would be a top tier friend, buddy. But, sometimes you earn it.
To be fair, this was after that. So this was after the ring announcing thing.
Welcome, Hassan. Well, Terry, we're not trying to cause heat. It's all love in here.
Yeah.
So no real wrestling news. We're going to go ahead and jump into Forbidden Door.
Yes.
Started, Tommy. Where do you want to start with this?
Oh God! Well, first of all, it didn't occur to me till just now that if you look at the title again, it legitimately looks like an anime movie title, like AEW New Japan. Like that's the anime series, and this is like their first major motion picture. But
I'm sure that
God, where do you?
was
I mean, do we start where we obviously want to start because you're wearing the shirt? Because I feel like that got the biggest reaction out of us watching it.
So Tommy can attest, and if JC were here, he would say the same thing.
Yeah,
I've already ordered the AEW shirt. Like after his match, Twitter was like, it's available. The new Claudio Blackpool Combat Club shirt, and before the next match ended, I had it ordered. So until it gets
yeah,
here, I will, support him under his old name. So let's talk about it. Zack Sabre Jr. was supposed to fight Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson obviously had some injury, so he was out of Forbidden Door. He was out of Blood and Guts, and he said he was going to get a replacement that would have just as great a technical match. There was speculation. I didn't want to get my hopes up, but for once in my life, and actually AEW does a pretty good job of this, they delivered.
just saw JC's comment.
Yeah, JC's in there, and it was in fact the man. Don't call him Cesaro anymore. It is once again Claudio Castagnoli, and as JC said, this is what I said. We are going to get ready for the Countdown City Claudio cast. This is what we're going to do for the next 2 hours at least.
Y'all are lucky that we even mentioned Money in the Bank because after that I couldn't have cared less what WWE was going to do this for the next month.
Let's just say the beginning of that match. First of all, he got a huge pop.
So, the reaction was insane in that building. Jeez Louise.
As I said, as we were watching it, Vince, connect with this, okay? Because he was over. All right. The fans loved him. And then to start off with the running European uppercut to the corner, followed by the neutralizer for a 2.9 count was just a tremendous start. Loved it. Just great to see Claudio back. And of course, props to Zack Sabre Jr. because he said, whoa, I'm still Zack Sabre Jr. You're going to throw an arm out there? I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to wrap myself around any other limbs you try to move. Some great wrestling. Cesaro.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Zack Sabre just locked in what he does, his holds, and then, that's a free arm. I'm going to take that. Oh, your pinky toe's a little free. I'm going to grab that. And, just some great back and forth for a while.
I remember the match where he won the PWG World Title, where him and Roderick Strong took off their boots, and and I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea because he just tortured Roderick's ankle every chance he got. But no, I was almost really torn. If they had done a quick match between those two, I'd have been like, that's not okay because it's Zack Sabre Jr., but it is okay because of Claudio. But the fact that we got a long match like they deserved, we get stuff. So it we deserved was awesome. Also, the fact that it was way more technical than I thought it was going to be, which, to be fair, I know Claudio can do technical, but it really did have that vibe. It was great. I don't know if you saw Zack Sabre Jr.'s video after the match. Did you see that?
I think it was one that shared in the group eventually. It was great. Again, just I'm upset that wasn't a technical match. I was surprised. I didn't. Yeah, it was. He
said, I think said right now, if you want to fight me, you come to Europe or you come to Japan. I'm never coming back to America.
To which I said, yes, please, to any of those.
Yeah, I mean, the match can be anywhere. I don't care, just as long as we see
Regal, get one of those extended buses. Drive over to Europe. That's right. I said drive the Blackpool Combat Club over to Europe, and then just keep going to Japan. I'm sure they connect somewhere. Yes,
I'm sure there's a ferry that they can just connect to each other.
All those members. I mean, obviously Moxley has done New Japan stuff. I'm sure.
And now Wheeler Yuta has because Wheeler Yuta did because of he was in the best Super Junior job.
Yes, Claudio right behind them. Yes,
Terry. Yes.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson.
That would be the most American watched Wrestle Kingdom ever if that match happens. Easily. There's no way New Japan would not gain at least 1,000 more subscribers for that match. At least.
And Hassan, we do see the blood and guts. We will talk about that kind of toward the end because that did just happen. this evening, and we'll talk about some of the things that led up to that as part of the show. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I could talk about Claudio all night. It was great to see him.
Yeah.
Love to hear some of the things he said afterwards. And honestly, and maybe I might even come back to this in the 1 minute warning, I just want to see. I'm calling this the autumn of Cesaro 5-star classics. Give him his partners in the Blackpool Combat Club. Give him Cole.
Yeah.
Give him Hangman. Give him Andrade.
Hey,
give him Malachi Black. I know some of those are old matches, but all of them.
Wait, Mike.
What?
Claudio versus Jeff Cobb.
Yes. Yes. 100% yes.
Can you?
Okay.
Can you? Two of the strongest guys in wrestling right now, like for real.
You know how Meltzer had a 5-star scale that he had to break several times? I don't know how I break 6 to midnight, but that's breaking it. Whatever fourth dimension of time that goes, that's where that will take me. So, yes.
Well, like six to the TARDIS, Doctor Who. You just go
the multiverse, whatever. Yeah, Terry Claudio versus Dax Harwood.
Claudio and Dax Harwood would be fantastic. Oh my God!
Dax Harwood said, "Not only am I in the best tag team right now, I'm going to make my case for Wrestler of the Year." He just keeps having single match after single match.
Yo, at this point, if he's not in someone's top 20 at least, they're not paying attention to a singles match.
Yes, Adam Cole.
Yeah, for sure.
But, okay,
can we get Claudio and Okada?
Yeah. Ooh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I could talk about this forever, but we'll talk about a few of the things. To me, really smart to start with Les Sex Gods and Minoru Suzuki versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. I mean, the crowd, I don't care what Jericho has done. You play Judas, and the crowd's going to sing it, and they're going to instantly get engaged. The crowd loves Eddie Kingston. Wheeler Yuta is starting to become a huge over, and Shota is just like a completely different from the last time they saw him in the videos they were showing. So great starting match there.
And put Suzuki anywhere on a card, and the fans are going to lose their. I love how he is literally the meanest guy in pro wrestling, and it can get cheered out of especially any American building he ever steps foot in.
Yes.
Because I mean, look at me. Look, I drove to Dallas and stayed 3 days just to meet Suzuki. That's not an exaggeration. Everything else was nice. I was there to see Suzuki.
And the Eddie Kingston Suzuki showdown, like it was. As much as Eddie Kingston is like, I will fight you. I'm super tough.
Yeah,
he's such a good wrestler because he knew when it was time. And Suzuki got it in. He was selling it like he was getting hit by hammers.
Yeah.
And, Suzuki was selling some of his stuff early. It was really great.
Suzuki and Eddie Kingston, that's one of the things I will proudly say injected into my veins just right now. Because first of all, Suzuki is legitimately a psychopath. Like I think he wrestles because we're scared what he will do if he's not. Because at least when he's wrestling, we can watch him on a camera. If he's not on the camera, I'm scared to death what that man is doing.
I think we talked about this, and I'll mention this because it'll be one of the next matches we can talk about. But he's one of those people like him, Haku. I made the comment about Pac. Like there are some guys you can just tell if I need to go into a dark alley in the worst city in the world, I need these guys next to me because I know I'm safe.
Yeah, and speaking
of
Pac,
definitely one of those.
Yeah, speaking of Pac, I was happy that he won the All Atlantic Championship.
Yes,
definitely deserved. Although I gotta admit, I felt really bad for Clark Connors. That poor guy got beat left, right, and sideways.
But I mean, a great showcase for him to the American audience.
Yeah, like
as much as they don't know, they may not know. I know AEW fans tend to be more knowledgeable just because they're part of. They tend to like this more.
Yeah,
you haven't seen them as much, at least around here. Ishii, obviously, you've seen more in the excursions or traveling to the U.S. So great showing for him, even though he did take like everyone's moves. He did get Miro with that spear into the table on the outside. For me, it's nothing but good things for him, and another great talented wrestler who looks like he can go with just about anybody.
Yeah, and the best part is like not only did he get to showcase, but to me I kind of like it because it kind of shows his humbleness. I mean, because come on, like they legitimately all took turns at least kicking the high holy crap out of him. I mean, and he got in his offense, which was cool, but I feel like Shibata told him backstage, "Look, Clark, they're going to hurt you. It's okay. Just think of it as training. All right, have fun out there."
Yeah, Burnsy in here. I would not. Yeah, Minoru Suzuki scares me. I would not want to run into him in a dark alley. No, you need him on your side in the dark alley.
Yeah.
You run into him, it's bye bye.
If he's the guy in the dark alley waiting for you, then you might as well just go ahead and give up your wallet, your keys, your significant other, carve out your own heart and do it. You know, at least you can do it
in your head. Just start playing the montage. Start playing "Good Riddance" by Green Day because
think about all the happy moments in your life. It's like, wow, that was a good day. Too bad my life is over now.
All right, some other things that were great. Okay, Young Bucks and the Bullet Club versus Dudes with Attitudes with the best beginning for a Sting match I may have ever seen.
Sting has single-handedly ruined the excuse of literally everyone who doesn't work out. He has single-handedly destroyed everyone's excuse. Unless you actually have medical reasons why you can't work out. Like Sting has just killed everyone's excuse for life.
Yeah, let's move on from that. Well, we're working out. When is the Funko Pop giveaway? When we start getting donations in here, and maybe I'll raffle one of them off. He is 63 years old, and he said, "You know what? We'll trick him. We'll do a little reference to old Sting in the Rafters.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to jump off the entranceway because I'm Sting." And
I love how Shingo and Darby were confused, and then they pointed, and like he jumped. And who the hell is this in the Facebook chat? but the dive was beautiful. It was like really was. I feel like I told a friend of mine who's a fan of Lij as well. I said, can we just put Darby and Sting in Lij now? I mean, Shingo looks like he'd be like, yeah, Sting, I like this guy. and come on, this had to be a dream for like Shingo and El Phantasmo. Come on, they were in a tag team match with Sting.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, that is a feather in your cap. I don't care who you are.
You know, I just to think about this, like one of the last time he was involved with New Japan, he was literally teaming with the Great Muta versus the Steiners. Like,
yeah,
I remember that's one of the favorite things I remember from, I love WCW early '90s.
Yeah. And now just now Muta's retaring, and he said he's retiring next year. So. Yeah. But another cool thing that happened on the show was the tag team title match. That was good. That was some great tag team wrestling there.
I know. Facebook user JC will be giving away a shelled necklace from South Harbor. So maybe not a Funko Pop, but apparently he'll give away a shell necklace. I don't know how you win this. We'll find out next week with JC. I really need to go to FTR as my I should stop picking against them until they lose because they're just on a hot streak.
And over as F, bro. Yes. Damn.
I mean, they really are. Like they've gone full Midnight Express with their gear, their music.
Yeah.
And they're really just making their claim for the best tag team in the world right now. And it's hard to argue. I mean,
it is. It's so difficult to argue because again, Dax is making the claim for great singles wrestler of the year. Yeah. Cash can if he has a few more because his match with Jeff Cobb was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's not like they can't wrestle singles matches. They just don't because they're such a great tag team. Oh wow. I'm just so impressed. And then of course. Roppongi Vice, always good to see them. And I'm now convinced more than ever, Great O'Khan is just having the time of his life. He's just having the time of his freaking life. When he wins and when he loses.
I don't know if we mentioned it, but if you're unsure, just go look up Great O'Khan's social media.
Yeah.
Apparently he's being taken care of. After his hard, difficult defeat. FTR, the next Road Warriors. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have no
No. Oh, no
problem putting them
question.
in those
No question.
conversations. Warriors, Dudleys, Hart Foundation, Steiners, all those tag teams that you would think are at the top of the list. I
Yeah.
have no problem putting
It's
FTR up there already. They're
it's one
amazing.
of those cases where if you could put them like do one of those like similar like super fight games or something like that, if you could like
Yeah.
get a game that could like match on them in like in their prime, that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't see them not being in someone's conversation at this point. They've proven it multiple times, like that they are one of the best tag teams. If you don't see it by now, then you're just willfully ignoring them at this point because they're
Yeah.
so good. Title
Title
collectors.
collector.
For sure.
Yeah. So then also, I don't know. This may be the match of the night after all we've talked about. IWGP United States Championship. Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy.
Listen, all due respect to the main events, all due respect to the both world titles, I did not expect that match to go nowhere near as hard as it did. Orange Cassidy put in that work to make then Ospreay is Ospreay. So I'm not shocked anymore. And I love Orange Cassidy. He's always good. I didn't know he was that good. Like, damn.
We've said this, you kind of alluded to it. It takes a lot of work to look like you are not doing any work. Like the amount of dedication and athleticism and just hard work you have to put in to make it look like you don't give a damn is outstanding.
Yes.
And he can go. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a simple formula. Be lazy, kind of draw them in, and then when the moment hits, like explode. But I mean, it works. The crowd loves him. By the way, also officially tonight on Dynamite, he came out to his old indie song "Jane" by Jefferson Starship.
Really?
So apparently Tony Khan went ahead and got that. So he came out. Also, Kentucky Gentleman Chuck Taylor was finally back. So as opposed to Roppongi Vice behind him, he did come out with Best Friends for his match against All Ego Ethan Page, which he won. OC won.
Nice.
So maybe another little push in the run for Orange Cassidy.
Oh, and just another one before we get to the main events. Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm, they had a great match. It was
like, again, we've talked about this a little bit. If the only story you can make for your champion is she's just going to face whatever contender you put in front of her, that's not a great storyline. But she's doing it. To me, a really good match with Tony Storm. I was a little afraid a couple weeks leading in. The kind of online talk about Rosa, along with Tony Storm, beat Britt Baker clean 2 weeks ago. So I was like, ooh, but Thunder Rosa pulled it out with amazing Aztec-inspired entrance gear. Love that stuff. Love her paint as always.
Her gear is always fantastic. Yeah.
And it's amazing. So great match there. Kept the women's title. Will versus Orange, my favorite match for the.
I don't. Yeah, for sure. It was so
definitely
good.
Possibly match of the night.
Yeah, I think it was like the dark horse match for a lot of people. I don't think anyone expect. Because I know a friend of mine who like swears by Will Ospreay for good reason, and he was nervous about this match because everyone's like it was rumored to have been Rey Fenix before the whole AAA CMLL thing, and so they were nervous about this match. But I think it exceeded all expectations for that one.
Yeah. And just to finish off with Rosa and Tony, the only thing that frustrates me is again. Beach Tony was a great match. There's no clear path for Rosa again. She's the champ. She's not in any big feud at the moment that's carrying over. I don't know if they're going to go back to Britt. So that's a little frustrating. While on the other side, you've got Jade Cargill with what's supposed to be the secondary women's title, with just this continuous storyline of I'm undefeated. I've had 34 defenses. What's frustrating, again tonight, she showed up. She had an open challenge, and it was Layla Gray. I don't know much about her, but they show her AEW record, and she's 0-4. So, how am I supposed to get hyped for your secondary women's champ against the 0-4? I just stepped up. I know that's what open challenges are supposed to do. It didn't matter. I just, again, like we've said endlessly, like JC said endlessly, I just wish they had a better direction and story for Rosa, because she's a great champ. The fans really love her. Just give her something to go with. So
Layla Gray, I know because she's been in Mission Pro a bunch of times. So I met her. She's and I have seen a couple of her dark matches. So so she's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, and that leads us to our two big matches. We had the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship: Jay White, Okada, Page, and Adam Cole. Really good match and action. The finish got a little messed up because of a potential injury. But other than that, it was a really great a lot of stuff going on. I did joke around because I think the Zack Sabre Jr. Claudio match was right before this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think. It was right before it. Yeah.
And so I was like halfway through. I was like, "Oh man, I'm kind of halfway paying attention because I'm still."
We'll see. And because Terry, like Terry said, it is weird. The rumor is that like Cole got like maybe like a concussion or a stinger midway through at some point, and that's why.
Because what happened was Okada went for the Rainmaker, if I'm not mistaken, and he just kind of fell. Jay White came in and hit Blade Runner on Okada, and then went to pin Cole, who hadn't been hit with the move. So there was something wrong with Cole. It seems like Tommy said that he's been injured,
or it looked like Cole like collapsed, like he like was either like a stinger or hopefully God forbid a concussion,
possibly a concussion.
God forbid a concussion,
But I think we were right about the intended finish.
Yeah, no, we were totally right about the intended finish. I can't believe all of us called that, but we were totally right about the intended finish. Oh my God, we were right about that part.
Because it was Jay White stealing it. And by the way, also kudos to Jay White on the media scrum stuff. You saw the video where they have the little holder for the champion to put the belt, and everything just kind of fell off, and he's just like getting pissed. And I didn't watch all of it, but apparently the majority of the time he's up there with Tony Khan, just being real irritable and being Jay White, which was great. So
Jay White, big Jay White is amazing.
I don't know how you could ever be disappointed with the four men involved in this match. Again, I know there was a little weird ending. There's just been this curse of injuries before Forbidden Door, and then there's something like this that happens on such a big match. But you got to see Okada live in the same ring with Adam Page, Adam Cole, Jay White. Other than it's kind of like the women's main event from WrestleMania. Other than that little hiccup in the pin,
little hiccup at the end.
So don't let it ruin. Don't let that little burp at the end kind of ruin it for you.
Yeah, and quite frankly, come on, people. It's like the video that I think we shared in our group said. It's like, why didn't they have a build for Okada? Because it's Okada. He doesn't need a build. He shows up, and that's the build. Okada's name. That is the hype package.
I mean, and again, if I know people are like, oh well, the AEW needs to get a bigger fan base, but to a certain point, AEW also knows what its fan base is, and so it knows that the majority of the people that are going to be interested in AEW New Japan Forbidden Door are going to know Okada, right? And of course, you want to get new people in, but you also can't ignore your core audience too much, like another company sometimes does. But anyways.
And AEW's core company would know who Okada is, so that's why they would.
I don't know why, but I'll take Claudio on my screen again because
I knew you would have no complaints.
No, I don't know what it has to do with what we're talking about at the moment, but it's Claudio. I'm down, man. I mean, I used that picture several times throughout the.
Yes, you have.
Core audience.
The core audience, true. That's a good point. Like when it comes to Claudio for the core audience, because hear the reaction. Not one person in that building didn't know who he was. It either as Cesaro or as Claudio because half of AEW's roster came from Chikara in the first place. So when it comes to Okada, if you're a fan of AEW, there's no way you don't know who Okada is, or at least remotely aware, because that's pretty much how Kenny Omega made his name, was because of the series he had with Okada in the first place.
Yeah.
So
I think that's definitely what took him from that really good wrestler to God tier like Okada is right there with him.
Best bout machine. And then we have the main event.
Interim AEW Championship. Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. I've been told many times, New Japan's John Cena in a lot of ways.
He's like their John Cena, like kind of more. I think I'd say more as the straight laced Stone Cold. What I mean by that is not without the drinking.
Straight edge Stone Cold.
Straight edge Stone Cold. Because Tanahashi was like, a lot of people credit him for like back in like the early, like late 2000s, early 2010s as being the guy who really pulled the company out of falling to obscurity, because believe it or not, there was a time when New Japan was like dangerously close to shutting down. They were like the number 3 or 4 wrestling company behind Noah, All Japan. I think even Dragon Gate had pulled ahead a little bit at that point.
It was Marvel Comics in the 80s or 90s time, basically.
Yeah, like no, seriously. And then it was Tanahashi and Nakamura really were the two biggest ones that were pulling them back up. Okada showing up completely changed the game. That's it. Okada showing up, and when Bullet Club formed, when Prince Devitt first started Bullet Club, that's when they really clawed their way back up. So Tanahashi has been their go-to for at least 10 to 15 years, and it's amazing how he shows no signs of stopping.
No, yeah, it was a great match. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Moxley. He's brutal. He's stiff, and Tanahashi showed why he's great. Like, great offense, great response. No idea what Contact was supposed to be the one made Moxley. Look,
I assume with Moxley, it's just in his contract he has to bleed at some point, whether there's contact or not.
It was a pay-per-view main event. There was no way he was not going to bleed, right? Have any of y'all ever seen My Cousin Vinny when Joe Pesci finally shows up and he's talking to the guys, and they're like, maybe you can get us out of this. They're like, you're from New York. You came down here. You killed the good old boy. There is no way this ain't going to trial. This is Moxley in a main event. There is no way he's not bleeding. He could have had an interview segment with Renee Paquette to end the show, and he would have been bleeding by the time that thing was over.
Oh, the comments for this are fantastic. And Eric Birdsey said, at least you could see Tanahashi. And Terry said, you got it.
Air guitar. That's he Jeff Jarrett him with the air guitar. I buy it. I'm going to take it.
Hey, at this point, GCW had a match with the Invisible Man versus his evil brother, the Invisible Stan. If that can happen, Moxley can get busted over by an invisible air guitar. I don't care.
I don't know if in our private comments here, our host is trying to wrap up our Forbidden Door talk, asking about our ratings. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if we want to go to ratings, as a totally biased Claudio fan, I am straight giving this a 5 because there's not a match I was disappointed with, first of all. Again, the little bit of the ending on the 4-way was unfortunate, but all the matches were entertaining. Orange Cassidy, again, against Ospreay, just came out of nowhere. Great matches all around, and Claudio returns. So I'm going straight 5. No regrets.
Same. I can't not give it a 5 because it was just great from top to bottom. It was a solid card. And one reason I give it a 5 is because with everything that happened before the show, injuries, people getting sick, people not being able to make it, all this stuff happening, it could have easily been a dumpster fire of a show, easy, with maybe 2 or 3 good matches, maybe. But it feels like because all the other stuff happened, everyone who was on the show stepped up that much more.
And
So for
Eric's
me,
with the 5 as well. Yeah.
Eric went with I give it a total 5. And just for the record, JC and Mike with 3-3. I would 4-2 because I picked Pac. Okay, so
There you go.
but
The pick results. As he said, me and JC went 3-3. Tommy wins this one, going 4-2 with Pac as the All Atlantic champion now for AEW, which I can't even be mad at. I'm glad for him.
So a friend of mine said, if this is what we got with the cursed Forbidden Door, can you imagine what was going to look like when they get one where everyone's healthy and they get everyone who they want?
I mean, yeah, someone made a Twitter post or something about it, or maybe it was in Reddit, but it was like, you know, they didn't have Punk, they didn't have Bryan Danielson, they didn't have Naito, they didn't have Lucha Brothers, they didn't have Andrade. All these little injuries. There was the dudes with attitudes versus Bucks was supposed to be.
Oh, it's supposed to be Takahashi.
There you go. Yeah. He got sick right before he was about to come over. So all these little things, but you know, kind of like that sports mentality of next man up. Everyone who did show up showed up and showed out, and it was a great show. It was no MJF, no Wardlow. That's true too. I was really thinking they might have brought in MJF at the end for a little interference to get Tanahashi the belt, but no, I guess they're going to let that story go for a little bit. But yeah, so it's a lot of bigger names weren't there, but everyone who was stepped up. So I have no regrets going 5 with this.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, so I guess that will kind of finish up our Forbidden Door talk. Again, we could talk Claudio and a bunch of other things for a minute. We'll kind of come back at the end. We'll talk briefly about Blood and Guts when we finish up. But first, a quick preview of Impact Against All Odds, which is an Impact Plus show that's going to be going down this Friday evening. We'll give you more specific details in a minute. So apparently what we got on the card is about 5 matches. We start with a tag match, Mia Yim and Mickie James versus Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. So that looks fun because
I would say you can't go wrong with that. You just cannot.
4 great wrestlers, and in storyline, a bunch of them hate each other. So, I mean, that's just the recipe for a good solid match.
That's going to be a good side.
And in all seriousness, I feel so bad for Chelsea Green because if there is someone who has not just had the worst of luck every time she's about to get a little momentum, even in other companies where and then she gets injured in her hand and her wrist, which has been re-injured several times and she's had issues with it. So I hope she continues on a little streak here. We don't really have to pick these, but just that should be a hell of a tag team match.
Yeah.
There. Then you have kind of not really a retread, but you have James Storm, the Good Brothers, and 2 more opponents, which may be announced this Thursday, I assume, to face Honor No More in another 5-on-5. So we talked about at Slammiversary the return, at least after the match, of America's Most Wanted. So I think you mentioned this yesterday, but it looks like James Storm will continue wrestling. Perhaps not Wildcat Chris Harris.
Boo. Okay.
Yeah, but I miss Chris Harris. Yeah, but you got them going up with the Good Brothers, which is can't go wrong with those guys against Honor No More.
Yeah,
that feud continues, and it's been a fun feud going back and forth.
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know if that's official, but that obviously makes sense.
I hope. That's because I just love Motor City Machine Guns.
We have not looked it up, and last that we had checked with our agenda, it just said to be announced. So if it is them officially, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And then a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. Sami Callihan and apparently
I've waited for years for this match to come back.
Apparently, Sami Callihan and Moose just went on Impact Plus and said, "What are all the crazy death matches Impact has? Let's go through those." So they did the one,
and I'm here for it.
Yeah. So they had the what was it, Monsters Ball match at Slammiversary. Now they're going to the Clockwork Orange. They're going through the Abyss/Raven book of matches.
Yeah. Okay, if we get Barbed Wire Massacre out of this, I will be the happiest person if we can get Barbed Wire Massacre back.
It's Sami Callihan. I wouldn't doubt it. So
yeah, true.
We also have a Knockouts Championship match. New champion Jordan Grace defending against former champ Tasha Steele. So I guess kind of get her rematch in there.
Yeah.
I would expect Jordan obviously to keep it, but I'm sure it'll be a great match.
Yeah.
Tasha did really good with the belt. Didn't have a super long run.
That just means she'll get it back later, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know when she will, but I think she'll get it back later. She proved herself as a great champion
Look,
during her
if
run.
there's one thing I don't have doubts about, it's impact on their women division. Right?
Hey,
They're
you know
always
what?
gonna do well with
Truer
that.
words, bro. Truer
Yeah,
words
I
have never
mean,
been spoken. You're absolutely right.
I have complete trust with that. I love the belt on Jordan Grace though right now. I honestly hope she has a pretty decent run with it. I think she deserves it. I know it's people say you can't say they deserve it. I think she deserves it.
I think fans say a lot of stuff, but yeah, I can say
Yeah.
she deserves it because she deserves it. So
And then your apparent main event, Impact World Champion Josh Alexander will be facing Joe Doran as he decides to go through Violent by Design one by one. And I'm okay with
okay.
that.
Yeah, I have to. Okay, but my thing is, I personally think this could be a show stealer of a match because Joe Doring, I think he's a 2 or 3 time All Japan Triple Crown champion, and and he faced the likes of Suwama. I think the last time he lost the belt was to the current ace of All Japan's Kento Miyahara. So he can really go. I haven't minded his bodyguard role as for Violent by Design because that's how you get to showcase him. But if they let him go, this could be a show stealer of a match, and because he's a good big man wrestler. So so this is gonna be really cool.
He can
for
go,
sure.
but also that means we get to see Josh Alexander suplex him around a bunch, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Because when the strong guys, when you're Josh Alexander's, your Claudios, just to mention him again, do the power moves on the big guys. That's always fun to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there you go. Against all odds, just a quick little Impact Plus event that will be Friday night, July 1st. This Friday night at 7 p.m. Central from Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. You do have to order or register for Impact Plus to.
I keep meaning to do that. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, and it's only like
because
$7, I think, if it's still the same.
Yeah, I keep wanting to do that and I need to get Stardom World so we can start talking about Stardom more often because they have been killing the game lately, man. Oh man, I gotta get Stardom World too. But yeah, so it should be fun. I mean, at this point, I don't think in the past couple of years there's been an Impact show that we've been disappointed by. I think the lowest we gave one was like a 4, maybe a 4.25 as a group. I think.
Yeah, they have been just the epitome of consistency.
Yeah, for sure.
Like just great shows, never disappointed. Maybe not necessarily any one of them that might be show of the year, but none of them that are going to be at the bottom of that list either.
Yeah.
So just they're solid all the way around.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that leads us into our preview of WWE Money in the Bank. We'll go through all the matches real quick. I don't know if we want to pick maybe just the title matches. What I will say is I'm always down for a Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, I guess.
Can you confirm Terry's comment real quick?
I will neither confirm nor deny that is what I'm not going to do because.
I'm assuming that's only streaming services, not any other fan-related sites that may be out there, correct?
You know what? Can we talk about the pay-per-view that I am not at all going to watch?
If only, right?
I hate you. When is JC coming back?
I don't know. Possibly never after he agreed with Mandy Rose being the best NXT Women's Champion. So in our chat streaming, keep it PG. Whoa! I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. I've kept it
wrestling wise. Actually, now I only have New Japan World. That's like the only one I have wrestling wise because I absolutely just I got so fed up with WWE when they got and when they got rid of the network. I just could not bring myself to sign up to Peacock. I really couldn't. So
I don't blame you. All right, but for our WWE fan out there, let's look at the matches we have for Money in the Bank. United States Championship match, we have Theory, no longer from Austin, versus Bobby Lashley. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think they're going to keep the belt on Theory because he's getting a push. I don't think it'll be obvious. It'll be underhanded, but I actually think he's going to keep the title. Maybe win, by disqualification. I think
Yeah.
he's going to keep it.
I'm picking Bobby. I want him to win so bad, and that's nothing against Austin Theory. I just want Bobby Lashley to win something.
All right. Second, we have a tag team championship match: the Usos versus the Street Profits. Along with what I said earlier, the Usos are right up there with the FTR right now as one of the best tag teams currently going, and it's unfortunate that WWE
Theory with
doesn't care about tag teams of men or women.
True.
Because there was that great run for a while where the Usos were going against the New Day, and they had a few other teams at least that you could throw in there, and they had Randy and Riddle for a while, which I know a lot of people liked and it was entertaining, but again, you find those wrestlers and put them in a tag team for a while. Most of the time, they wind up winning the titles for a bit. Such a contrast to what we just talked about with AEW, but I digress.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with the Usos. I feel like if they lose them, it's going to be at like a SummerSlam or Survivor Series. Not very confident about that, but I'm going to stick with the Usos, kind of like I would stick with FTR until they lose.
Viking Raiders will do the news.
Hey,
wow, I didn't even think about that. Actually,
I think I heard they just turned heel or something. So
yeah, I heard they turned heel recently. You know what? I'll go with the Usos too because now that Terry said that, now I'm thinking that that'll happen somewhere down the road. So you know what? Yeah, I'll stick with the. I like the Street Profits. They're actually one of my favorite tag teams going right now. Yeah. One of the reasons I will watch at least the WWE YouTube. I mean, other than that, I don't watch them at all, but I'll at least catch the replays on YouTube. Right. But yeah, I'll say Usos for now.
All right. Raw Women's Championship match: Bianca Belair versus Carmella. I will say this: for as much grief as people may give her, Carmella has taken everything she's been given in WWE and made it her own and made it awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, my side wasn't a discontentment with Carmella because she's fantastic. It's discontentment with the booking period. It's just like I wish this was a bigger deal because both of them deserve
it. It is a replacement because it was supposed to be Rhea Ripley originally, and Ripley was out with injury. So Carmella is a replacement. But I'd already seen some people on social media, but I should stop paying attention to them. Carmella's great. I don't know if she'll ever be, put down as one of the best technical wrestlers or overall, but for WWE, she is perfect. She has always done what she's asked, and she is not a slouch in the ring.
She's not.
She tell stories in the ring. I expect her to give Bianca a little bit of trouble, but I think Bianca's going to take the win, obviously here.
Yeah, I'm going with Bianca too, but I feel like a lot of like Carmella and Liv Morgan are very Trish Stratus in that way. Like they're underrated because they're not allowed to be let go of. I think Candice Michelle back in the day was actually pretty decent, except they just never let her do her thing because I think that one story.
She definitely
yeah.
Terry, I'm not sure exactly what you mean if we've seen that already. Matches in the WWE, lots of them, sure. Oh, we've already seen Carmella and Bianca.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. But that would also involve them acknowledging that NXT is a thing, and they refuse. So
you clearly have more faith in WWE than we do. So I wouldn't put that on them.
So much more.
All right, so we're both going Bella. It looks like next match, the SmackDown Women. So we go to the other title, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. And the first thing I have to say about this is I think the Twitter war is better than this match is going to be, or at the very least, it's more entertaining to me because all I see is Ronda Rousey calling out Natty for running around on YouTube in the underwear with her sister all the time. And then Natty just being back about, well, no one wants to watch you being boring, sitting at your farm out and wherever you have your farm. And I think that's the most character Natalia has shown in quite a long time.
Yeah, like
And
no lie.
and look, let's be honest, we'll be transparent. I do not watch WWE on a weekly basis. I still have
Yeah.
obviously a lot of wrestling social media. So I see clips and I read stuff. I've seen a lot of people reference that Ronda just does not look into her time there. And again, Ronda was never real strong with the character work. But I saw a lot of people just kind of feeling like she's just going through the motions. Terry. Yeah, they're literally training partners and best friends. So this is probably true, right? If you
I believe it.
I mean, kayfabe, bro, but no, you're probably right.
Yeah, I can see them sitting next to each other. That girl, what should I say next? Girl, try this shit. Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, just on a totally BG note, if you want to go check out Natty and her sister on YouTube, I hear it's usually worth it, or on Instagram or whatever they do. So there you go.
It's Instagram. Anyway,
I've heard, but yeah, definitely going around to Rousey here. I can't imagine them putting.
Yeah, I'm going Rousey. There's no way not. I mean, Money in the Bank, like JC said, is probably one of their big five now. But I think Vince will want a bigger of the five for Ronda to lose. So yeah, I'll say Ronda.
All right, now the two matches that give this pay-per-view its name, and that honestly usually are at least entertaining. We have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch. So we have 7 in there. That should be great. You have a little variety in there. You have some strength. You have some small people. You have Becky. But because I'm just going to do this more from my heart than my head, I'm going with Liv. Because, again, for like the 4th time in the past 2 years, I think she's ready for that push. I don't trust WWE to do it. This is why it's my hard pick, but I'm going to go with Liv Morgan because I would love to see that.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like the way they had been pushed, the few times I did watch anything related to this or to WWE, I'm gonna go with Lacey Evans because it feels like that's who they are because her getting pregnant kind of sidelined all their plans, with her at the time. So this might be a way to kind of jumpstart her back to where they wanted to put her in the first place.
Heel this week? I haven't heard.
Hey man, big show. What can I say? So sometimes you punch out the wrong superstar, you just go with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd heard some. I mean, I'd seen online the promo packages they kind of did when she was first coming back, and again, she honestly has a pretty great life story. And like when she had her original run, I know some people got behind the sassy Southern character, but when they kept mentioning that she was legitimately a veteran or served a Marine, I believe. That seemed like exactly what you should go into and stop this weird Southern character. But I don't know. Apparently, they kept going with it, and then there was a SmackDown or something where the ring announcer was like, "Everyone, stand up and tell her how great she is," and it was weird. So I don't know. It's WWE.
That's odd.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if she won. Honestly, I could probably make a case for just about anybody on this in this match, winning.
Yeah, I'll speak up for JC and say he's going to pick Alexa. He picked Alexa Bliss, so
right. I assume so.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go on a limb and say Tina picked Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got your picks for you guys.
Gotcha. We got your back.
All right, and then I don't know if it'll be the main event, but the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Osmosis versus Sami Zayn versus Riddle versus to be determined from what I've seen. I assume the last person will be added on SmackDown. I don't know to be sure. If it's already been chosen, let us know.
I mean, unless it's Brock Lesnar, like they did when they screwed Ali out of it that one year. So
Okay, look, I have never wrestled in a match. I've stepped inside a ring to take a picture once, as close as I've got. If you're at the top of a ladder and someone's music's playing and they're at the top of the ramp, get the damn briefcase because you have time. Like, I get it. There's a bear coming down the ramp towards you. That is scary. But if you're going to die, die with the briefcase. Just saying. I mean...
It's the if you're going to die that got me, that's all.
I mean, it was Brock Lesnar coming down, and, you know, I can imagine...
Yeah, you're right.
It looks like a grizzly bear running down the ramp towards you, but, you know...
Yeah, same thing.
It takes him a while. He has to do his little poppy thing to... You know, his little intro first. Grab the briefcase next time. That's all I'm saying. I'm not sure whether Terry agrees. Thank you. I'm honestly not sure. I'm going to go with Riddle because he seemed to be getting a little pushed. And there's not a lot of people left that are legitimate, I think, right now to face. Well, okay. Can I take that back?
Okay, yes.
I'm going to take it back, and I just thought of something, and I actually thought about this because it's been said on another channel. So I'm going to go with a theory that was thrown out on Cultaholic. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre, and then he is officially going to say, kind of like Rob Van Dam, I want it at the Clash at the Castle, the England pay-per-view they're doing in September. So,
I didn't know they were doing that. Oh, okay.
There's an English pay-per-view. I think it's called Clash at the Castle, being done in England. Everyone assumes McIntyre is going to be in the main event with Reigns. And I know usually you want your Money in the Bank to be something to kind of carry around, but honestly, most of these guys are pretty established. You know, Sami Zayn, I don't think they take him seriously enough to put him in a title picture. So
but you know what? I'm going with my heart on that one, and I'm picking Sami Zayn. I know I'm wrong. I don't care because, like, you know, for the love of God.
The heart wants what the heart wants, man. I can't blame
so I'm going to
I'm just going to go back to that because I honestly don't know. I can't imagine they would give it to Osmosis. And I don't know. There's one other person. So, excuse me. It depends on who else, you know, gets thrown into this match. But I'm sure it'll be entertaining. You have... oh, my God. What contract chicanery would have gone on to allow that to happen?
Could you imagine the internet wrestling community losing its collective minds if MJF walked out there, and especially if he grabbed the briefcase and won?
That would be something.
That would be amazing.
And then he grabs the mic. You want to know what I have to say? Watch me Wednesday on Dynamite.
The level of confusion would be amazing on that.
And then, you know, just like Punk leaving 2011 with the belt, and then like literally leaving the arena, he just leaves.
Yeah.
So I got McIntyre. You got Sami Zayn. That is WWE Money in the Bank. That is this Saturday, July 2nd. It's not a Sunday. Keep an eye on that. At 7 p.m. from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that will be streaming, of course, on the Peacock Network in America. If we have international viewers, I think you'll still have the network in most other places.
I'm more than positive everywhere else but here has it.
But if not, then it's probably also on pay-per-view in those places. So there you go.
Premium event. God, Mike, get it right.
What?
I'm kidding.
Pay-per-view.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Everyone knows I hate that term.
Yeah. All right. So before we get to the end of the show, there was. I don't know if that's wrestling. We talked about that before. It was in a bigger stadium. It was in that new football stadium that the Las Vegas Raiders are playing in, and then they said, "You know what? I don't think we're going to get 60,000 here." So
it's the same. Is it the same weekend as the UFC fight? Same day. It was the same day at one point, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like
it
that.
might also be why it's on the Saturday or something. Yeah. Jason knew more about that specifically, but
yeah.
So real quick before we kind of get to the end, we did just have Dynamite tonight.
Yeah.
A few news points I'll throw out there. Luchasaurus has aligned himself with Christian, so that's kind of interesting. Christian, I mean, again, we talked about it. there's just something about some of those guys that were able to get over in the Attitude Era. They can be heel or face with so little effort. And you may say it's like, oh, he's just insulting people, but he does it so easily, and the crowd was just on him.
He's one of my
And
emperors
in
of
all
heel.
fairness, I will say I have never been a huge fan of using dead people that your opponents are related to or friends or I mean I
Fair
don't want
enough.
to because for every Eddie's not in heaven, Ray or
Yeah.
Paige, Charlotte's brother, Natalia with her dad. I'm not a big fan of those. So it would be kind of hypocritical for me for always to kind of complain because WWE had been doing it for years and then AEW does it. I'm not a big fan of it. For what it's
Right.
worth, it got him tons of heat. And the
Yeah.
crowd, and he kind of reiterated something with what he said tonight. But he's still just a great heel otherwise. He said the best thing about Detroit was that they're close to Canada. So
I did catch that one clip. I heard that one clip, and I was like,
yeah.
what? I was like, what did I miss? And I was like, I gotta find this whole thing later.
Like I mentioned earlier, Orange Cassidy returns to his indie theme, Jade by Jefferson Starship. He beat, like I said, All Ego, Ethan Page. They kind of did almost like a Hogan Andre thing where he was trying to slam him the whole match. Orange was trying to slam Ethan. He couldn't get him up. And that's kind of how he ended it. He finally hit him with an orange punch. He went against the ropes, kind of like Big Show into Cesaro for that slam over the ropes, and he slammed him and he pinned him. It's kind of interesting. What else was there? There was the Jade Cargill match. It was weird. Afterwards, they called out Athena and Statlander, and they came down to fight them. And then that Layla Gray wound up helping Cargill after she got beat by her because Stokely said something to her. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It's probably because like Layla Gray does have like kind of like the baddie mentality, so that's probably was like if you can't if you can't beat him, doing him thing.
But then after she helped him, Jade was like wanted nothing to do with her. So I don't know if it was actually going to become something or not.
It could be like she like tries to get in the group and like she'll have to try to work her way into it now.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But the Blood and Guts match was great. Sammy and Claudio started off, and if you get a chance to go back and watch it, Claudio beat up Sammy for the first 4 minutes. And I mean, he threw him around a few times where he landed a little awkwardly. He was like, oh, all right, you're right, Sammy. It's kind of fun, but as long as you're okay. And it lived up to Blood and Guts. I mean, each person kept coming in. Eventually started bringing in weapons. Without going too in depth with everything that happens, Jericho, Kingston, one of the 3.0 guys, which I forget what his new fancy name is. I think it's Magic Daddy or whatever. And Claudio. Anyways, the four of them wind up on top of the cage. For what it's worth, Cesaro saves Eddie from being in the walls of Jericho. And then eventually, Eddie has Jericho in that stretch. Not the stretch. Is it stretch muffler? I don't know. It's the same thing he used. Stretch plum. There you go. The same finisher he used to get Jericho to tap in that match they had. And Cesaro hit a big swing and then locked in a sharpshooter on the other guy, the 3.0 guy. So it was like they were dueling to see who would tap first. Well, Claudio's man taps first. And Eddie was visibly frustrated because he had such a blood feud with Jericho. He obviously wanted to make him tap out. So just a little thing, but Claudio was being the good teammate to him. It's cool, man. You could see Eddie kind of was like, I wanted him. He's like, it's cool, we won. And Eddie was playing nice after that, but they're sowing those seeds. Man, and it's beautiful. So
I can't wait.
Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie and Pride and Prejudice won. I think Santana.
You see Terry's comment? I agree.
Yeah, Sammy started off and he took all the high risk. He actually took a bump off the top of the cage onto a table. Like we've talked about last week, they don't have the ringside announce table, so there's just a table there that's like, this is our Spanish announce table. if someone's going through a table, this is the table you're going through.
It's for the timekeepers, but yeah, it's like that like that thing's gonna get broken a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a little bit bigger. You can tell they made a bigger landing surface for him, but he went through that table from the top because he's Sammy. But they did wind up getting a win. So Moxley, Daniel Garcia, a whole bunch of them bloody. Wheeler Yuta. I also mentioned, maybe this can start leading to my 1 minute warning. I want to see, not exclusively, because I want to see Claudio go on a run of singles matches. Kind of want to see Wheeler Yuta and Cesaro team for a little bit, though, at least some.
It's like a sub team of Blackpool Combat Club.
Whenever Blackpool needs a tag team for things, because Claudio's Mr. Tag Team. But it was a really good show, worth going back to check out if you have that option on TV.
Yeah, I think because I couldn't go to my parents' house. Unfortunately, my mom has COVID right now. She's okay. I talked to her earlier, but I just they're just quarantining at the house. But I think I DVR'd it at their place, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it later. Or if I just find it randomly on somewhere on the interwebs, which it'll probably be up in a few minutes.
I'm sure they'll be.
It's good to see what they're gonna look forward to next. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
All right, you ready for a 1 minute warning?
I got something. I think I got something.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay.
Whenever steady starts and go.
I'll go. So for my 1 minute warning is just like I actually mentioned it earlier. Stardom in Japan. So All Women's Promotion, they have been killing the game lately as far as like what they do pro wrestling wise. They just had their first cage matches at their last show. That actually took place Saturday. There is a Sunday morning their time. It was I think it was like late Saturday night our time. No, Sunday afternoon their time. But I heard rave reviews. They got another big show coming up, and they have their version of the G1 Climax card, the 5-star GP. I think it's the 5-star Grand Prix. Stardom, man. If you're looking for great women's wrestling, and you want to see more of it, it's over in Japan. It's alive and well. So just checking it out. So yeah. I just saw Terry's comment, crouch hitting We the People.
Yeah,
I did see some of that. That was awesome.
I was going to say it's also worth noting. Whoa! Why do I hear myself? Ted, take care of that, buddy.
That was funny.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Minor technical difficulty. What I was going to say, it's worth noting that Tony Khan actually wanted to use some Stardom talent to have more women's matches on Forbidden Door, and it just couldn't get worked out apparently. But hopefully in the future, that's the next stage. Maybe at Forbidden Door 2, 2-night event. Why not?
Someone said they wanted it in Japan at the Tokyo Dome, and they wanted it separate from Wrestle Kingdom. And I say yes to all of the above. It doesn't need to be tied to Wrestle Kingdom, but it should be in Japan, and it should be at the Tokyo Dome.
I'm down with that. All right, we'll go ahead and start my 1 minute warning here in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get this over with right off the bat. Is it weird that I'm a 40-year-old man and have a ship in wrestling that I only mentioned to JC and Tommy? Probably. But back during the pandemic, I really thought, I know one of them's actually married. The other one's probably not in a relationship. Bailey and Claudio, though, or Cesaro at the time, became my two favorite wrestlers for what they were doing. And I just thought it was funny because they interacted a few times. In real life, they're really good friends. Claudio is finally back. Those two have not been on my TV for quite a while. And Claudio's back now. I was ecstatic. Tonight. And so to complete that, I need Bailey back on TV. I will watch WWE for Bailey's return. If she shows up to Saturday night at Money in the Bank, I will watch the following Monday or on Friday, whatever show she winds up being on. They've been my two favorite. I need Bailey back in the ring. I hope it's coming soon. We got Claudio. I need that Forbidden Love to come back, even though they're different shows, like Forbidden Door. I'm pretty sure Claudio's married to Sarah Del Rey, but it's kayfabe.
Yeah. I mean, hey, dude, I told you, fan fiction. Any of it can be true. Just saw Terry's comment, and it was I think he's talking about Wrestle Kingdom, and he said indeed to.
Oh
Bailey
yes,
and,
Forbidden Door 2 in the Tokyo Dome would sell out. No.
Well, yeah, well. See, this is also because Japanese fans, I'm sure, know exactly who everyone in AEW is already. Like, I'm sure they were looking that up the second all this stuff got booked. So yeah, yeah. And the thing is, though, whenever they can go back over there, I'm sure a lot of restrictions will be lifted. And can you imagine a sold out Tokyo Dome with like John Moxley and all those guys in there?
Punk with Bryan Danielson.
Crowd would be the noise level would be insane in that building.
AW, once you have the set and once the date is set in the Tokyo Dome, then you grab Punk, you grab Moxley, you grab Bryan Danielson, a few others. You put them in plastic protective wrap.
Yeah.
Keep them in a secure location until the day of that event, so that we know they're not injured.
Yeah. Oh hell! And you put them in plastic and you ship through Tokyo that morning, and y'all will stay here for 3 weeks and just shut a door.
Seriously. Adam Cole, baby. Cole. Yeah, need him on that show without a doubt.
Well, but the funny part is he'll be the guy with the most experience at Wrestle Kingdom at the Tokyo Dome because he's won there before.
Him, the Bucks, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, him and the Bucks, man. But Bucks got more experience in that building than I think all the AEW roster. So.
All right,
that's saying something.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much our show here tonight. We want to thank y'all for joining us. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at ccg_WrestleCast. There you go. It's below us this time. And on YouTube at Countdown City Geeks. We are part of the Countdown City Geek channel. We are the wrestling part of it.
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to recap WWE Money in the Bank. We're going to continue to talk about Claudio. I'm going to see if they will change the official name up here to the Countdown City Claudio Cast. Thank you.
He got that up already. That's awesome.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Thanks for joining us. And remember, Heels and Baby Faces, as JC always leads us in, pro wrestling is. Wait, what? God dang it, JC, I'm messing up with that. You Tommy, get us out of here.
Okay, as always, Heels and Baby Faces, remember, pro wrestling is real. People are fake.
Boom. I almost had it. Just like the 4-on-4 match, I messed up at the end. It's okay. Adios, cool.
We're all good.